Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to COVID Connect as we continue on our topic of discovering your purpose. We are now officially on part 2. Yesterday, we released part 1, which was all about probing and asking you quite a few questions that you needed to go back and reflect on. And just to recap, that was number 1, have you ever asked yourself the question, why am I on earth? Why do I exist? And at the end of all of this, what was I meant to have achieved? What was the expectation of me as a person at the end of this life that I can say, tick, I did it, I humaned. So have you gone and asked yourself that question? And the second thing is, have you ever questioned your life beyond the routine that you're living and beyond the life that you are living right now and said, geez, I wonder if it's just about getting married, having kids, earning $1 million, buying a big house, saying I achieved, I got a degree. Have you ever asked yourself, is there more to this life? Have you been curious about it? Because if you haven't, you still need to take a few steps back. And if you have asked yourself that question, you probably landed at the right spot right now, which is part 2 of the series. And that is, and I'm going to call it part 2.1 because I realized that I actually cannot deliver this entire part of discovering your purpose in one go. It's really such a complex topic that requires a lot of time and a lot of thinking and a lot of questions that you need to go back and answer. So we're going to kick off with the first thing is, did you go and answer the question of, if you ever had to aspire to anybody, who would it be? Would it be Nelson Mandela or would it be Steve Jobs? And the answer to that question very quickly tells you where you're leaning towards in terms of what kind of a person you want to be and what do you want to achieve at the end of your life. Because if you think about Steve Jobs, he made a huge impact on the world and will never take away any credit from that. Made an absolutely huge impact on the world, but isn't necessarily the impact that I would want to make on the world. For me, my impact that I would want to make on the world leans much more towards what Nelson Mandela did, which was to fundamentally change the way that humans see each other and the way that humans appreciate each other, as well as a life of very much being a servant. So you've got to ask yourself that question and you need to be able to answer it. And what I can almost guarantee you is when I ask you that question, you will instinctively already have somebody in mind. I want to tell you, go with it, because that's the first step to discovering your why or discovering your purpose is identifying who you aspire to be. So start there. The second thing around discovering your purpose is generally it takes something quite shocking for you to discover your purpose. And I actually hope that none of you ever have to experience this, because you should discover your purpose in a beautiful way. You shouldn't have to discover it because something absolutely shocked your system and you're like, damn it, I need to figure out how do I lead a more meaningful life and, how do I deliver more to the world than just going to work and getting on my laptop. You should never go through something shocking. So we're going to try and avoid that through these sessions. For me, and I said to you, I'm going to talk to you from personal experience as to how I discovered my purpose. And that's what we're going to focus on part 2.1, which was how I discovered my purpose. And it's really around experience. So experience and having many different life experiences is so important in discovering your purpose. Going on adventures, going on a holiday, doing things differently. I've spoken so much about doing something new every week because it is so important in helping you discover your purpose. But I'm going to tell you one thing that will probably answer your question to purpose. Have any of you ever questioned whether we all have different purpose in life, or is there just one purpose that we're all going to be leading? So for me, I actually got to the point after lots of studying and after lots of reading on many, many, many people who discover their purpose that actually our purpose was common. And so I reached the point in my life where I actually know that every person who goes down the journey of purpose is probably going to reach the same purpose, but we're all going to deliver that purpose differently to the world. And that's where our uniqueness comes in. But ultimately, majority of individuals who discover their purpose actually have the same purpose in life. And that purpose is so clear. So we'll go back to the story. We'll take a step 13 years back to when I discovered mine. And it wasn't in a great way. I, 13 years ago, experienced the greatest loss in my life. And that was losing my grandmother as well as my best friend all in 1 year. And I know that sounds so hectic, like, wow, that possibly couldn't happen. Did happen. And I went into an absolute depression because those two people were absolute pillars of strength in my life. And, people often say and often use this so loosely, saying that when someone dies in your life, you almost wake up the next morning saying, geez, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to live my life to the best. I am going to enjoy every moment. I'm calling bull on that. That never happens to a person who's in depression. Because when you're in depression, all you're thinking about is, how much you miss the people you've lost, how much you wish they could be here, or that you want to be with them, or that what is all the regrets you have when it comes to having made those people happy. But you never think about, how am I going to wake up tomorrow and just live my best life? That's not real. That doesn't happen to a person in depression. But what does happen is that you do exit this depression. And often the way you exit your depression is when you start to find your purpose. For me, I was very lucky. I had a family member who helped me get out of this depression by taking me to an orphanage at the age of 20. Before I ever got to that orphanage, I had known poverty existed. I had known that there were people who were less privileged than me. And that's pretty much all I knew. Didn't touch my heart, wasn't relevant to my life. What was relevant to my life was, I'm going to study, I'm going to get a great job, I'm going to work really hard at that great job and keep earning more money and more money and more money, and I'm going to drive the most fancy car in the world and buy the biggest mansion. Until I got to this magical place called the orphanage. And all of a sudden, this poverty concept became so real, and it actually started to touch my heart. And at that moment in life, I realized, wow, giving back to others is something that excites me so much as an individual, and I want to do more of this. And so I didn't realize at that point in time that I necessarily was discovering my purpose, but I did. I discovered my purpose at that point in time, but I hadn't crystallized it, that's why I'm living. And as I started enjoying giving and giving and giving, and I got home every day after giving, and I went to bed smiling, and I went to bed fulfilled, every day of that journey just got me to the point of realizing, Roxy, you are on this earth to serve other people in whatever way, shape, or form. Your passion is other people. And so if you go and read up on Buddhism, they often say to you that your truest passion is often what becomes your purpose. And there's two very distinct things in this world that, apart from anything else, that exists, and that's you and others, right? Those are the two known things, you and others. Discovering your purpose is about saying, I'm going to put me on the back burner, in the sense that this sense of self-achievement is going to go on the back burner. And it's not that important to me anymore, but me as an individual leveraging everything that is around me, my family, my network, my job, the experiences from my job, is going to be put to use to serve other people. And that's the 100%, the core of why I exist, is because I know my goal is that I want to serve other people. I want to be a slave to other people. And when you discover your purpose, you get to that point where you are so passionate about it that I'm okay with being a slave to others. I want to be able to say that at the end of my life, Nike has a tagline saying, just do it. I want to be at the end of my life that have a tagline to say, lived for the world, lived for others. And, that's your purpose. So when you, at the end of your life, if you actually replace your name with a tagline on your tombstone, what would it be? What would that tagline be? Would it be, had $1 million in my bank account, became the CEO, drove a Porsche, and became the richest man on earth? Would it be that? No. Anyone who discovers their purpose knows will tell you, no, that's not what they want. What they want to tell you is that I made millions and I gave it away. I gave all of it away so that I could enrich other people's lives. And that is the absolute beauty of purpose, is that it is so single-minded that every single human being gets to that one point of, I want to be a servant to others. Our purpose will never be different. And I know that people have never definitively answered this question before, but I am telling you, I've read and I've watched and I've listened to so many people, and I've experienced this thing called purpose by myself as well, to only get to a point that, geez, why don't they just tell us at the beginning of this journey, go figure out how to make other people happy. Go figure out how you can use this person that God delivered onto earth to enrich others' lives. That's purpose. And that's the answer to purpose. And I know that it seems so arrogant to try and answer that question, but you go read up for yourself on all the greatest people in earth who've ever lived that have made a difference in the world. What do? They all gave their lives up for others. And so I want to tell you that the answer to purpose is really serving others. But the most important part of purpose is being able to let go of any goals you ever had for yourself and to start living for other people's goals. And your life becomes about that. Your life becomes about helping others achieve their goals. And that's what purpose is. The purpose is being able to let go of all the things you dreamed of to make other people's dreams come true. And that's where the secret lies. But we'll talk more about this and how you get to this point of absolute passion and release from yourself and your own selfish goals to a point where you are living for others completely, fully, and truly, and that it makes you completely happy and excited about life and content to the point that you could die tomorrow and you've done everything. And I reached that point, and my mom and I debate this a lot. She hates it. She hates that I say that I could die tomorrow and I'd be a happy individual. She hates that I say I'm never going to get married, I'm never going to have kids, because I think it's an absolute distraction from the purpose of my life. She absolutely hates it. But that is it. When you get to your purpose, you are so okay with anything happening to you and anything coming into your life or leaving your life. And that's truly when you know you are living your purpose. So I want to tell you the answer is very simple. It lies in discovering how you can best truly find your passion to serve others. And we'll get to part 2.2 tomorrow, and we'll talk a lot more about discovering your purpose, how you get there, and how you get to this point of releasing yourself to the world. But for now, I hope that was enough to give you a lot of food for thought, and I hope it excites you about discovering purpose and delivering purpose to the world. But we'll get to more meat on this tomorrow. But for now, have a happy evening, and I will catch you tomorrow talking more about discovering your purpose, and then about how do you get better at delivering it every single day and making it that core of your life. For now, just have some fun tonight. Go to bed. Think about this for a little, not too much. Don't let it worry you. Just let it be something that excites you. But I'll see you tomorrow.